I can imagine.
I spend all my time with my grandson.
Yeah.
So for me, family is huge.
Yeah.
Like back when we were in Balambala, knowing that there is a world out there in Kenya that people are coming from, and each comes with a different experience, I think creates a curiosity, a hunger to know a bit more.
Yes. How important is trust in banking today compared to like when we started working?
Yeah, I mean, trust is the commodity of banking. It's where it starts. But also I have seen that in the corporate world that trust is an asset even from a performance and speed perspective. The more people trust each other in a group of people, the more likely they are to go together in the right direction. Go quickly.
Good day and welcome once again to our latest edition of the Martin and Forrest Show. Today, Forrest and I are very happy with the guest actually we have in front of us. We'll introduce him in a short while, but yeah, let me allow Forrest to say a word before we do that.
Thanks, Martin. It's always a pleasure to be here. I think one of the things about this show I'm really loving as it comes along is the guests that we have. And the fact that they actually agree to come on the show. So that's really positive. But thanks, Martin. Great to be here.
Yeah, welcome. So allow me to introduce Mr. Abdi Mohamed. Abdi is the group CEO of Absa. But today we are here to really know who Abdi is. So Abdi, feel free. I'll allow you to introduce yourself, but welcome.
Thank you, Martin. My name is Abdi Mohamed. I'm the chief executive of Absa. I've heard a bit about the show, and it's really good to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So I've known Abdi Forrest for quite some time. I mean, it's always nice when you're interviewing somebody you know, because you think you know them, and then you come onto a show like this and you start talking and you realize, damn, I don't know this guy. So I'm hoping that this is going to be one of those, and maybe a good way to start. Leaders like yourselves, leading big corporates, successful, having worked in multiple geographies, have a lot of lessons, not just for us as your peers, but also for generations below us that are looking to do what we've done in our lives, or maybe even more. Maybe a good place to start, Forrest, would be just some background from him in terms of where did you grow up?
Martin, I grew up in Garissa County, a place called Balambala, which is maybe just about 100K out of Garissa. A nice, wonderful town, small, great community, not your urban complex type of place, not the type of place where you have everything. But at the same time, a lot of kindness, community, people who know each other. So that's the type of environment that I grew up in. It wouldn't be described as anywhere close to wealthy. We struggled for a lot. But people had family, had friends, and it was a different type of world. Today I see the kids have all manner of things to entertain themselves. Our lives were mostly outdoors. We disappeared in the morning over the weekends and came back at nightfall. Nobody knew where we were. And then the rest of it was, school life, trying to do the best that you can, even in that environment. One of the things that strikes me a lot is how teaching staff, people who teach in primary, secondary schools, were mixed up. The country had a lot of integration. So we had so many teachers. I think the majority of the teachers that I dealt with when I was in Balambala were from other parts of Kenya.
The country,
And so very early in your life, you start hearing about different places. People tell you we grow coffee, we grow tea. You have never seen coffee, you have never seen tea. But you can start imagining it, even when you are you're young.
Yeah.
So those are the places we grew up in. I got into, after the primary school, I got into a school called Garbatula, which then was a national school.
I know it very well.
Of great fame at that time. And it admitted students from all over the country. I think in a class of 40, we probably had 30 different districts and people represented. I was the only person actually from my district in that class. It was a school with a lot of Christian values. It was run by the Catholic Mission in those days. And so again, coming from a very heavily strict Islamic background into an environment where you see people going for mass in the morning, you have to join them.
Yes.
You read the Bible and do all of that. Again, you see different parts of the world. And it kind of opens up your mind when you're still very young.
Yeah.
I left that midway and came back to Garissa. But that was the start. That was the way we started our life.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about national schools. I mean, we all were lucky to go to national schools.
Yeah.
And I remember my class in Form 1 in Maseno School. We had 2 students from what used to be Northeastern Province.
Exactly.
And we used to laugh at them. You went past Garbatula to come to Maseno all the way.
Yes.
And it was an interesting thing because for them, during half terms, they couldn't go back home. It was too far for a 3-4 day break. Yeah, but it's, thanks for sharing that. I mean, one of the things, if somebody asked me to describe Abdi from what I know him, I think you lead with a lot of integrity and authenticity, and that authentic approach to life. Do you think it comes from that time?
It does, because when you grow up in that kind of environment, it's a life of community. People lean on each other.
Yeah.
The nature of the environment is such that you have to support each other. And I have many, many examples of people who helped me through different stages of that life.
Yeah.
One of the things that I remember the most is someone I met when I was in high school. It's called Captain Musa.
Yeah.
And he's a good friend and someone who I have known since then. But he pretty much took me through my schooling. He became a sponsor, a mentor, a friend. And he's just an example.
Yeah.
There are many other people who help you through that. And the nature of the community and the nature of the way people work together is that it makes you feel that sense of debt.
Yeah.
That sense of debt of gratitude. And I spend a lot of my own time now on matters of education because I truly believe a lot of people made that difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear people talk of a self-made man or woman.
Yeah.
There is nothing like a self-made man in the world.
No.
We are all products of community in different ways or the other. So this has had a big impact on me over time.
I think thanks for that intro, Abdi. And it also takes me back to time from high school. Because we were, I think at the time when we were in school was the first time when they introduced this thing they called district focus. In the national schools.
Yes.
And for the first time, I mean, so I was not actually born in Nairobi. I was born in Kisumu, but lived in Nakuru in Nyeri before we moved to Nairobi. So, but then I was very young. I think by the time now I was a teenager and now started interacting properly with people from the rest of the country, is when I came to appreciate really, truly the diversity of the country that we live in. But my question for you, and which I think is a critical aspect that we want to try and bring out, what do you think your upbringing, because we see it in let's say smaller communities. Correct. People not, and by that I mean not smaller tribal communities, but people who grow up in smaller, communities. They have a much greater sense of that community. And more importantly, paying it forward. That's what the Mzungu taught us to call it, paying it forward. But you find that tends to happen easier in those kind of communities than the
in
urban
the urban
setting.
absolutely.
I don't know what thinking you have
absolutely.
around that.
I think that society was a lot closer knit. It's easier when you grow up in such a rural setting, where families are fewer, people know each other. This ability to support, to coach, to mentor. In a way, you almost felt like you had more than one parent. You had more than two parents. You know, everybody out there looked out for you, guided you. Even discipline was communal.
Look out, it means also.
Even discipline was communal. People would say, "When mtoto wa fulani, what are you doing here?" and so on. But in a way, I feel that need for community, that need for a helping hand does exist even in heavily urban areas. I think sometimes the systems and the social structures do not exist, but children everywhere and young people everywhere need that element of guidance, that element of having somebody to look up to. And like what you are doing here is really powerful, because it uses, the modern technology that we have to reach a lot more people with that kind of support. But I agree with you 100%.
So maybe building on that, your story as a corporate executive is kind of famous. And for those of you who don't know, you said it that nobody is self-made, but you're probably as close to self-made as anybody else, literally growing within the ranks of the bank, right at from the beginning to where you are now. What would you say your upbringing might have had to that journey, and what experiences can you share?
I would say that seeing what is happening in the rest of the country, and then as I grew within the corporate world, as I traveled a little bit, seeing what else is out there, that knowledge, that ability to say, I have something to look up to, creates the hunger that you need. It makes you a different person to know that there's a far bigger world out there. Like back when we were in Balambala, knowing that there is a world out there in Kenya that people are coming from, and each comes with a different experience, I think creates a curiosity, a hunger to know a bit more. I think the other aspect that I would think about is excellence, the ability to try and be better. I talked earlier about the teachers and the people that we had. They had a big impact on me. Every little step that you take gets recognized, and you realized, oh, if I'm performing at this level, this is what it means. And then you keep hitting it, and you realize, actually, from that little place where I was, my name is on a board in a national school. And I've been called out there. And after that, it kind of rolls on itself. This excellence, this ability to be better, it's a bit addictive in a way. Like,
so it's more about looking forward than where
and
you've
bettering
come
yourself.
from.
Bettering yourself every day, I think is a key part of it. And then as you work and as you grow within the corporate world, it's pretty much the same thing. Building that vision and understanding it is quite important. I remember when I was in Garissa High School, we had a visit. There's a university association called Northeastern Province University Students Association, NEPUSA. And in those days, the members were like 10 or 11. It was a small number of people. And they did this tour of schools in Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera. And when they visited us in Garissa, for me, that's the first time I actually pictured university. They told us what life is out here, the adventures, the academics, all the things that they are doing. And the class that I was in produced the highest intake into university from that region at the time. And, we felt it was a golden period where And some of the names are people who are here now, senior in private sector, public sector, that came through during that time. So that ability to aspire, to have a role model, somebody that you're looking up to, and then constantly working towards it. I think for me has been the biggest one.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I mean, having worked with you and knowing how you work, you can see that in meetings or even the way we interact when we have to face issues. If you think about that and carry it into your work life, and now we've got into places where we lead organizations. A lot of leaders will have leadership traits or a few things they believe in that if you ask them, they'll use to describe leadership. I'll give you mine very quickly if you don't mind. And hopefully it spurs you to tell us what yours are. So I believe strongly in competent delegation. I know I can't do everything. And if I delegate, I let you do your work. But the reason I say competent is I look for people who I know will not let me down. That's number one. So number two for me is I'm very decisive. So if you come to my office with a set of problems, you must have a set of solutions. And in fact, if you've chosen one as the decision you want to make and you just want to check with me, I'm happier with that. My job is to help you make the decision, walk out with the decision, not give you solutions. And then the third thing I do is engage. I make sure I know what's going on to the shop floor of the organization. And that defines who Martin is as a leader. Do you have a set of things like that?
Yes, I do. I think personally, I feel that I put big value on growing people, getting them to where they want to be. In the bank right now, I run a personal mentorship program called the Leadership Square. It's something very personal to me. It consists of leaders in the 25 to 35 years range. More women than young men. And we meet every month and we mentor each other and we talk through leadership. I do believe that there is leadership potential in everybody. I always say, if I am here, anyone can get here. That's what I say. And I got here because of a lot of people helping me. So that empowering and developing people is a big story. Respect for people, even in tough performance situations, making sure you are doing the right thing with people. That balance between being kind to the person, but tough on the objectives. Tough on what needs to be done, but always remembering there is a person in there and being kind to that person in every situation. That's my... I really look at it more from, I don't see leadership as a how to do it. I don't see it as the visible, behavioral, superficial kinds, but more about what you believe and what drives you. And what I truly believe is that it's a privilege to work with people.
Absolutely.
Every day.
It is.
And therefore, that comes from a place of respect, that having that opportunity to be with you every day is a real opportunity and is a real privilege. That's how I approach it.
And then there's also different situations that call for different styles. If we could dial in on respect before I go back to Forrest. Because for me, that's a big one, is how do you deal with people? And simple things like giving feedback, especially negative feedback. Because a lot of people don't know how to do that. And they think it's a chance to beat the person up. When in actual sense, you need to be addressing the issue while growing the person. And we are seeing in the workforce now with the newer and younger generation, what I would call, and I'm probably not going to use the correct word, but a more delicate colleague, if you like. And even the way we communicate is not the way we were communicated to when we were at that age. Are you finding a challenge with that generation?
Obviously, generations always change. I can tell you, even when we were coming, I don't know what our gen is called, but we were the gen of that time. And we found people in the working space that were from an older generation. And they always used to say, the new people, they're like this, they're like the other. I have found that a lot of important aspects have shifted during this period of time. wellness is a much bigger subject than it was during that time. The way you handle a colleague, the way you deal with them, we have much greater awareness of things such as mental health, etc. And sometimes you hear people complain about that, but I feel that it's almost part of this generation and part of where we are, and it's about ensuring you work with it. I also feel that there are many positives. And I'm sure you've seen this, Martin. I know you deal a lot with young people as well. Strong value systems, strong beliefs, focus on sustainability, looking at what the company believes rather than what am I earning from it. And so there is a mix of things there. But I've always found in these mentoring conversations that I have, that I also learn a lot.
Oh, you do? You do.
About things. And as you say, in our time of starting, you came to do a job. And you sometimes there was this expression that leave your problems at the door. When you come in, you are here to work. In the evening, you pick your problems and you go with them. But today is more like come as you are. Everybody is unique. We'll deal with you as you are. So it's a major transition in thought process for leaders.
I find, Forrest, I think our children and the generations below us are probably not going to be working for money. They're going to be working for purpose. Because that's why they're asking these questions around how are you doing what you do? So you're seeing things like they're very clear about what their focus is, and they don't waver. And if they don't find the same values in the organization, they walk away. So I think as leaders, we do have, I'm sure you're finding the same for us.
Absolutely.
And they have no hesitation to walk away. Back in the day, you're thinking, how will I pay my rent? How will I put fuel in the car if you have one? These guys will just walk away. Tomorrow will deal with itself. Which brings me to something that you talk about a lot, which is around leading or being a person of authenticity and integrity. How do you bring that across in an environment that seems to lack the very same, every day? And so these people are looking up to you, and they know that you will talk about it in the office. But even just on their way home, they'll see someone, the policeman asking the matatu guy for some money. So their environment doesn't mirror
it doesn't.
what we are speaking about. So I don't know, what are your thoughts around that?
I have always found that with integrity, it's not a gray, black, white. It's like a black, white. You really want to say as much as what you say and what you do, your actions are matching. You're able to speak from a place of, if what I'm doing was on a headline, I'll be okay with it. But we also know that you live in a practical world. There are many times when you may commit something and not be able to do it. Again, how you close that loop and ensure that the communication still comes from a place of integrity. We agreed on this, it didn't happen because, and this is what I'm doing about it. I think people value that, and people value integrity. The vast majority, and this is my belief, sometimes it comes across as naive. The vast majority of people want to do the right thing, know what the right thing is, want to do it properly. And sometimes, the nature of the world is people who are not behaving ethically or doing the wrong things get all the news. It's not news when people do the right thing. And I wouldn't want to live in a world where that is news. It's news the other way around. And therefore, when people don't live with integrity, they carry the news and they are more visible. So for me, I don't claim to be the perfection, but I claim to aspire for it every day of my life, and hopefully encourage and inspire others to go in that direction.
Yeah, that's really interesting hearing you talk about integrity, because I must. This is feedback as a friend.
Yeah,
it shows. It
Thank
shows
you.
in the way you interact with your peers and where I've seen you. Then there's the issue of trust as well.
Yeah,
And trust is a funny one because I've found there are two types of people.
yeah,
When you meet them for the first time, the people who, on a scale of 0 to 10, will trust you at 10.
correct.
And then it depends on you to maintain it at 10. You do
Yes.
something wrong, it slides back.
Correct.
Most people will start at 0, and then you build this trust towards some.
Yeah,
The guys who start at 10,
Yeah.
roughly, and I'm generalizing
Yeah.
here, if they lose the trust, it's gone.
yeah,
The people who start at 0, they don't really have a lot, so they
Yeah.
build it. You can
Yeah.
go back and forth on that spectrum.
yeah,
You work in an environment where trust is really critical in the banking
Of
and
course.
financial services.
of course.
And we're also seeing, I guess, with challenges as those businesses grow,
Yes,
a lot of ethical issues in some of the institutions, generally,
Yes.
not yours specifically.
yes, yes.
How important is trust in banking today compared to
Well,
like when we started working?
Yeah, I mean, trust is the commodity of banking. It's where it starts. I think that trust between the bank and its own customers and ensuring that is maintained, that is the greatest asset of any bank. And when we deal with colleagues, people that we work with, when we have new entrants and they are being trained, that is the most fundamental thing that we talk about. But also I have seen that in the corporate world that trust is an asset even from a performance and speed perspective. The more people trust each other in a group of people, the more likely they are to go together in the right direction, go quickly, have less infighting within the organization, be more vulnerable, accept it when a project has failed because you trust each other enough to say,
we tried
this one, let's move on. You find that the lower the trust you have in an organization, the more people fall back on bureaucracy and process and this and the other. And therefore, it really affects the speed and the ability for people to work together.
Yeah.
So I would say trust is like up there.
Yeah.
I mean, without it, it's hard to imagine how you will have an organization, especially a financial services.
Yeah. Okay. So now you get home.
Yeah.
You throw your tie away, your shoes, you jump into some shorts. Then what?
Well, I'm big on family.
Yeah.
I have a big family. Our kids in total are 6.
Okay.
Some are adult and grown up.
Yeah.
We have 2 young boys, both teenagers who are in school. We have a grandson as well from my firstborn daughter.
Congratulations.
And in fact, right now they are around. So that's just amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I spend all my time with my grandson.
Yeah.
So for me, family is huge.
Yeah.
The other one is really, I do lots of walking. Whenever I have a tough issue to think about, my go-to is a walk. And the bigger the issue, the longer the walk.
The walk.
You don't always find the answer during the walk, but the mind clears in a way that you create the possibility that you get an answer. So that's something else that I do. I'm an elder now in my community.
Yeah.
And therefore, there's also stuff that comes from that aspect.
Does that come with age?
It comes with age, and it comes as you
status,
participate more and more.
Yeah.
You get involved in things that are not for you personally, but that are for the wider community.
Yeah.
It could be a little dispute to be resolved.
Yes.
It could be something that requires mobilizing people to get resources. And so there you are drawn into a lot of meetings that have zero to do with my corporate life.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. And you enjoy that?
It's lovely.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how that happens. I always joke with Martin that adulting is a scam.
Yes.
Because one day you're thinking you're a young man,
Yes.
just living your life, taking
Yes.
care of your family.
Yes.
And next thing you're told to chair some meeting
Yes.
in the community,
Yes.
and wondering,
Yes.
how did I get here?
Exactly.
When did I get old?
Yeah.
And
But,
the transition is quick. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, very quick.
one day you are the one doing, like when there is weddings and stuff, one day you are the one doing the logistics and being sent around.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the next day you are being led to where the wazees are supposed
Yeah,
to
you're
sit.
being
So,
told
Yeah.
to talk
Yeah.
on behalf
Yes.
of the
Yes.
family or
Yes.
something like
Yes.
that. And
Yes.
you're like, I should have paid more attention
Exactly.
when my uncle was doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
on that note, I want to kind of bring us kind of back full circle,
Yeah.
which is something that you said, which was very powerful in the beginning, which was the impact from a way of inspiring you to
Yeah.
see the future
Yeah.
of that first group that came round to
Yes.
your village in Garissa.
Yes.
What are you doing now?
Yes.
And what would you tell people to do
Yes.
more
Yes.
of?
Yes. Yeah, and I don't know that we are actually doing enough of it, but for me, I've spent a lot of time on matters of education, whether at a personal level to help people. And, in our country and in our continent, there's still large numbers of people that do not yet have that opportunity that people have in the city. There are a lot of people who can't afford education and other requirements. And so being there, helping at an individual level, I think is very important. And at any one time, I have a number of those. But also, both from an institutional perspective, but also personally, we've been back there. I think my last trip out was about mid of last year to Garissa High School. We did a library there. We met the boys. We spent a day talking to them. Just 2 weeks ago, we were in Nyeri, in a special school there. And this is a school for kids with different levels of disability. And we met the teachers there. And every time you meet these teachers, people who handle special children, you see people who are there for a calling.
Yeah.
You can't be, there is no pay enough
That can pay for that.
to pay you for that kind of service. And they spend time with the children and they help them. They did a fashion show for us when we were there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we saw the level of training and what the teachers are doing with them. And so spending time in those kind of places, giving people an indication of where their journey could be, spending time with the teachers, with the students, I think is a big deal for me. Last year, I was in a school called NEP Girls in Garissa.
Yeah.
Again, we do a lot of work with them. There's a mentoring program that we are working on. We were in Mombasa with my colleagues. So it's a mixture of some aspects that I do as part of the
Your
bank's own requirements.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons actually why I've stayed in Absa for as long as I have is that there is this alignment to things that are so dear to me, that you can be on duty, but actually you are in a school in Jomvu,
Oh, yes.
where you are meeting a kid that is seeing a computer for the first time, and you are helping them through that process. But also at a personal level, just mentoring, advising, being there for these students when they need you, spending time with teachers and so on. It's some of the responsibilities you've spoken about, but for me, it is dear and it is so personal.
Yeah.
Because I have seen what education can do, how it can transform your life. And even since I've left, I've seen many young people that have come up under us and have transformed. Before I joined banking, I was a school teacher for a while. And when I was teaching, some of the kids I taught are now members of parliament, and I meet them, in the streets, and I feel really proud about how their own lives have been transformed. Yeah,
that's a very noble choice of career. I would say, teachers are amazing people.
Yeah,
they're really. different.
Yeah.
It's not something you just go and do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
This as we start winding down.
Yeah.
That aspect of teaching, I want to pick up on it because the way we were taught when we were coming into the job market, we are age mates here, was very different. There was a lot of training in the technical space, and then being left to go and do, and being expected to do correctly.
Correct.
Now we are seeing there's a lot more hand holding.
Yeah.
There's technology to assist.
Yeah.
The jobs of the future look different.
Very different. Yes.
Does banking look different in the future to you?
Wow, it looks so different in the future. We came from banking in an era where banks basically handled funds, transfers. You visited your branch physically. I was a teller many years ago. And in the days when I was a teller, we didn't even have ATMs yet. And so people walked up to me every morning, and that's how they dealt with the bank. For them to either withdraw, open an account, do whatever they do. Today, 90-something% of the client transactions that we do are done out there. So there are few people who still come to the bank. We still have customers, maybe of our age, who see banking as an experience. Yes, who see banking as an experience. They want to spend a bit of time with the person they are dealing with. But most clients that we deal with today, right from opening the account all the way to the end, is done digitally. The age profile of the customers is changing into the 20s and the 30s. There is a lot more interconnectedness in the financial system. So we came from an era where if you are booking your airline ticket, you first went to a bank, you got your money, then you walked to the airline office. I'm sure, Martin, you did this. You went to do your booking for the ticket. You came back, you did this. Now it's an integrated
and
network.
Before you left, you looked for a traveler's check.
Traveler's check.
And now today you have to tell people what a traveler's check is.
Exactly. So it's a very different era that we are moving into. There is now AI and many other capabilities that are allowing us to almost predictively know what a client might want. Depending on what they are doing with you today, guess roughly when they might travel and to where, and what you might offer them. So AI is now starting to play that role. AI is starting to predict things such as probability of default when somebody is borrowing and give you a good sense of it. So there are many aspects of banking that is changing, and it's changing very fast. The speed of change is exponential. You can't blink, and that's the speed at which it's changing.
So what are you telling your colleagues that are going to be here 20 years from now? What do they need to do to prepare?
I would say that there are new capabilities one needs, but there are timeless capabilities that will always be required. Leadership, aspects of leadership that you provide, how you help people perform, how you manage that performance, how you manage the interaction between receiving somebody into the organization, training them, preparing them for leadership. There are aspects of leadership that are timeless, that never change.
That's true.
Basically, the human side.
The human side of
will
it
never disappear.
Will never change. And then there are aspects of it around innovation, ability to change, your agility as a person, your learning ability. Nowadays, they define it as future fitness.
Yes.
How future fit are you? And that has nothing to do with age. You can be 60 and future fit. You can be 30 and not future fit. How you prepare yourself and how you learn, that learning capability is one of the critical aspects of leadership, going forward. But the timeless elements,
those ones will stay.
Resilience, ability to manage, uncertainty, ability to communicate.
Yes,
those will always be there.
Thank you, Abdi. I think I just have one more question.
Yes.
And this one is a simple one.
Yeah.
It's for Martin, actually.
Yes.
Man U or Arsenal?
I support the team that plays the best football in the world, Arsenal Football Club.
There you go.
We've had a few years of difficulty. My son actually forwarded me one of the memes.
Yes.
And of course, he supports United. So,
Yes.
and those guys are not
with
good.
Banter,
Yeah.
matchmakers.
Yeah. So he sent me something that says, you last won before Google was formed.
Yes.
Yeah. It was the last time you got a Premier League win.
Title.
But look, we play beautiful football. We start every season with great hope.
And promise.
And that's where we are, great promise.
Yeah.
Right at the top of the table right now.
I feel like this year will be different.
Yes, yes, it will be.
Hope is always there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't need to sell hope to Arsenal. We have it.
I think the best example of resilience, never giving up,
Yep.
and always aiming for the top, I think it's Arsenal.
And being
This week,
consistent.
people are sending me the picture with the elephant once again and saying it's back at the top. Yeah,
They
but
need to be more original now.
yes.
Yeah, no, this has been great. A lot of our friends, if I drop their names now here, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Support Arsenal. And I don't know whether it's coincidental or maybe there's something in it, but all those good attributes and consistent. I hope they deliver a title sometime soon.
They should.
Yeah, this
They
has
should.
been interesting. I've enjoyed it. Really, thank you for being open and to having this discussion. We owe it to the generations behind us to impart what we feel would help them.
No, thank you.
And you really help us to tell that story.
Thank you so much. I do hope that it's useful.
Yeah.
And as you say, every leader has a slightly different angle. And hopefully from every interview such as this one, the young leaders pick up an angle, something they can say, I liked that bit.
Yeah.
And the more you build on it, then the more the opportunity exists.
Yeah. To us, that's it. If you can just pick the one thing from every episode that resonates with you, that would then help you to be a better leader at work, better interactions with your communities or the people you work with.
Indeed.
We are happy. So Forrest and I do this for that purpose.
Excellent.
It's our way of giving back. And we are really grateful for colleagues like yours to come and help us tell the story. So there you are with another episode of the Martin and Forrest Show. And we hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.